Welcome to the Overrated Experience Sports and Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Blondin, with the lady from upstairs. Say hello.
Hello.
We're back for another check-in for Super Bowl week. We were on Super Bowl Thursday, and we're back with picks, novelty picks, game picks, nose picks. No, I hope not.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, so we're going to get to it. If you haven't listened to the Overrated Experience Sports and Sports Betting Podcast before, you can follow us on Twitter at Overrated EXPER2 or X if you want to prefer to it. Do you prefer to as X or Twitter still?
Twitter. X is so stupid.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, if you haven't joined us before, welcome. We're a square betting podcast that talks about betting, like the Super Bowl, and other events. Right now, focal point is going to be football because we are on NFL time and it's running out. And we also talk about the biggest sports stories out there. And, we go wherever we want to go in the conversation. So let's kick it off. And if you joined us on Tuesday, we kind of felt out some of the things we'd be covering today. And we told the lady from upstairs to go back to the drawing board and check out some of the novelty bets. And she's ready to go. And we'll get to her in 1 minute. As we have last talked to you, some of the key stories in the Super Bowl so far include last night the 49ers hotel had the fire alarm go off and interrupted their sleep for 10 minutes. So who knows if the 49ers are kind of getting screwed here with fire alarms and the practice field. And things are, maybe not in their favor, but maybe it's an omen to take Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. It seems like everybody I know and everybody I'm talking to is putting money on the Chiefs, but the 49ers are still the betting favorite. FanDuel has them at -2.5. Well, other books have them at -2, even down to -1. And it seems like these books are not budging. And I don't get it because the consensus, again, is that nobody bets against Patrick Mahomes. So maybe more of the sharp players. And what's the sharp, Jessica, again? Or, sorry, lady from upstairs?
Someone who's experienced.
Somebody who's more of a pro. Experienced pro, really does it for a living. Knows how to invest and come out with a win and actually can pay their bills. The hell was that? Is that...
Sorry, my phone.
Okay. So somebody can pay their bills and live off sports betting as their big income. So we're not there yet, but we hope to be one day. So we're going to kick it off. What do you think we should kick it off? Should we kick it off on regular old football betting? Or should we talk novelty betting? Where would you like to take the conversation, lady from upstairs?
Yeah, I've been looking at, actually it's called a halftime bet. So the novelties are other things like the coin toss and stuff. And so the halftime ones include what actually is going to happen during the halftime show. So I've been looking at, how many songs are going to be as part of the halftime show. So is it over 8.5 songs or under?
Okay, hold on.
Yep.
Let's warm. It's almost like a first date. Let's have some foreplay when it comes to the conversation, and then we can go straight to the
Okay.
Get busy. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to stop there for a second. Let's have our audience understand who the lady from upstairs is. So Super Bowl is traditional, big event. Everybody's excited. A lot of people come out just for these halftime performance to watch what's going on. Out of the Super Bowls that you recall, do you recall your most memorable halftime performance? You have Prince, you got J-Lo and Shakira, you have AC/DC, you had Maroon 5, you had The Weeknd.
Justin Timberlake, yeah.
Oh, what happened there?
Great, well, yeah. Well, the one with Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, yeah.
And what happened there?
There was a wardrobe
malfunction,
yeah.
And then you had, obviously, Dr. Dre and Eminem and 50 Cent. And Mary J.
Bruno Mars. Can't forget Bruno Mars.
Well, which one is the favorite then? Which one?
Bruno Mars is my favorite.
Is that because you like Bruno Mars, or was it actually the best show?
I'm a bit biased, but I thought it was the best show.
Okay, do you remember Prince's performance?
That was a long time ago.
And it was in the rain, too.
So,
I'm not kidding, it was in the rain.
Oh, was it?
Yes. I know you're thinking I was joking.
I have seen on YouTube some of like the older ones. Like I was watching the Michael Jackson one, too. And that one was pretty cool.
There was a Michael Jackson one?
Yeah.
Really?
Long time ago, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So that one was obviously...
What about Rihanna's performance last year? Rihanna's performance.
It was okay. It was okay to me. It wasn't that great.
Nothing spectacular?
No, nothing spectacular. I know a lot of people love her and they liked it, but I personally didn't.
So what do you know about Usher's performance? One, let's start with what do you know about his motivation to want to be on this show?
Well, he drops a new album tomorrow. And apparently he's already had a few singles out already. So when you're looking at some of those bets of the songs that he's going to play, it does exclude some of his releases already, so it's kind of tricky. I know that actually I've been watching some of these bets earlier in the week. I noticed that there was bets about who was going to appear as a guest singer with him, and that's gone now. So there's probably a lot of already speculation, or a lot of, maybe interviews of maybe someone knows who's going to show up to the halftime show, right? So those have been taken off the table now.
Yeah, traditionally the sharp bettors, the ones that are behind the scenes, have contacts within the rehearsals and things like that, where they may get wind of how long a performance is, the special guest, the opening song, a lot of the key bets in the halftime genre of betting. So a lot of that stuff comes off the board because there's a feel in the market that there's too much of an audience that already knows the outcome before it's happening. So you're lucky to get in there where you did. Before we get into your picks, where would you rate Usher, and how excited you're to see him perform? Like what kind of a fan of Usher are you?
I like Usher. He's a 90s sort of. I believe he's still relevant. I mean, he does have residence in Vegas, and a lot of people go see him still. But I feel like throughout the decades, or last couple, 20 years, 25 plus years, like he's actually comes out with something new all the time. So I think that I think it'll be a good.
See, I thought it was underwhelming when I heard Usher. You know what I mean? But if you were not a professional podcaster and had to stay on top of this stuff, would you have tuned in and gone out of your way to watch Usher's performance live?
Probably not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not. But I guess maybe because reminds me of my young years.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to kick it off with the halftime wagers, because maybe many of you have tuned in for this. So how long did you take to analyze this?
I've been reading, like I said, just trying to figure out, because like I said, the bets were different on Tuesday when I saw them. So I started researching in terms of like the album and when it was dropping, and what other collaborations he's done with his current album. I also looked who he's done collaborations with in the past as well. So if he sings something during the Super Bowl, he might bring somebody from that's collaborated with him before. But anyways, that's off the table. So that kind of changed a little bit of.
Well, let's go back to that for a second. So I know you don't have a bet. You didn't place a bet for one. Okay, so let's explain.
Yeah.
One of the bets was, and you can clarify this for me, was who would Usher bring on first, or just in general, who would he bring on to? Because it could be multiple people. So what was, before the bet disappeared, what was the actual bet?
One of the ones that I saw was, what song is he going to kick off Super Bowl with? That's gone now. Now it's, what is the last song that he's going to sing? Okay,
so you were not obviously in Vegas. You were not behind the scenes to check out rehearsal and have an inside tip.
Yeah.
If that bet was still on the board, which song did you lean toward?
Probably like OMG. Like,
what does OMG stand for?
Oh my God.
LOL.
Yeah. The other one was, I think I mentioned it earlier. It was about who else was gonna guest appear in one of the songs. So that was taken off.
And wasn't one of the stipulations that they had to hold the mic for at least 3 seconds or something like that?
No, I didn't see that. But in terms of the length of songs, they had to be played at least 10 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. So who would you have taken if you had to think of one other celebrity or singer to come on stage? Who would it be?
Ludacris, for sure. Yeah.
Why for sure for the folks that are out of the scene? Why would Ludacris be the why do you think Ludacris?
I think people still know Ludacris. Yeah.
But why? What's his connection with Usher?
He collaborated one of the songs with him. So
Which song?
with the OMG song.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think he would have been opening with Usher?
Or maybe it was one of the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously you're using FanDuel to make your picks,
Yeah.
right? And that was because you couldn't find too much on Bet365?
No.
All right. So what bets are on the board and what bets do you like?
Okay. Let's see. So the last song that he's going to perform, I've picked DJ Got Us Falling in Love. That's at plus 490.
Well, what was is the 490 the favorite? Is it an underdog pick? Where would you rank that song in the selections that are available?
It's the third, actually. There's the first one that has the lowest odds. So it's which is plus 100 because it's one of its popular songs.
Okay.
Is at plus 100, and then Confessions is at plus 390. But I'm pretty sure for sure that he's going to include them, and they may be at the end. But I think I'm just trying to remember of past performances with other artists. Like, it'll probably be. I'm just trying to picture in my mind like how the song ends and how they wrap up everything, like the whole show. So I thought DJ Got Us Falling in Love would be sort of one of those that could help wrap up the show.
Okay, good. It's value pick. You can make some good money on that. We said plus 490.
Plus 490.
All right, so $100 makes you $490.
Yeah, I don't know if I would bet $100 on that.
Well, you have a lot of fans out there that might take you as a solid pick there. So hold on to it. All right, what else you got?
So I'm gonna actually pick a really crazy one with that one with the last song. There's one where he's gonna, if he debuts a new song, it's at plus 6,000. So it's very tempting. But I think even if you put like $5, like you could still win some considerable amount of money. So I think I'm gonna just throw $5 on that one.
Okay, so let's take that back a step for the audience to understand what they're diving into. So I didn't know that he was dropping a new album until recently we talked about what we would bring on this podcast. And two, you had mentioned singles were released already.
Yeah.
So when they say sing a new song or debut a new song, does it exclude those four that were there? So that's important.
That's important to know, yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
So you're thinking a small little wager for the hell of it, nothing that's going to hurt you, that he would reveal debut a song that was not already part of the four singles that he has out there.
Maybe the next one that he's going to take out as a single.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What is that it? Is that all you got right here, or we got more?
The other one is the over under 8.5 songs, and again they have to be played for at least 10 seconds each song. So I'm gonna take the under, which is 8.5, because I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of collaboration, and so I'm gonna take that at plus 170.
And how many? So plus 170.
Under.
How much? Okay. And is the over the favorite or is the under the favorite?
The over is a favorite,
really?
minus 250. Yeah.
Ooh.
But he only has 13 minutes.
13 minutes. Now, normally they would kind of just run into the next song, right? Like they would go off and almost like mix two songs together.
Yeah.
So, feel good about it?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Let's see. I was looking at one of the novelty ones, and I was looking at the temperature at time of kickoff.
Okay, what stood out to you on that one? I seen that one too. I'm like, who the hell is going to bet this one? But yet you come to the podcast with that bet. So why?
I just thought it was interesting. Like, I was looking at the forecast, and it is going to warm up. Like, right now it's cool. So right now it's about 5 degrees, which is kind of chilly. But, as I was looking at the forecast, by like Monday, it's going to get like 12, right? And, by the time they start playing the game, it'll be about 3:30, which is probably when the sun is at its hottest. So 11 to 15 degrees is at minus 125. But I thought, what the hell? I'll take it at that it'll be between 16 and 20 degrees, and that's at plus 4,000. Again, one of those like just crazy bets, just throw like $5 and just see what happens.
You know what? You might be the expert in this bet and for our audience, because I'll tell you, in the house, you usually express if you're cold or you're warm, and you have, you're in charge of the thermostat. So I do believe you have the expertise to really vet this and have a good pick. So sorry, what was your pick again?
16 to 20 degrees. It's going to be 16 to 20 degrees at the time of kickoff. And it's at plus 4,000.
Okay, so if you're wrong, you lose the hierarchy in the home of controlling the thermostat. Just putting that out there.
Oh dear, we're going to be cold all the time.
Absolutely. All right. What any other novelty bets outside of halftime? What about the ant? I know you were quickly looking at it. Maybe you don't have a feel for it, but maybe you don't have a bet on it. But Post Malone is going to perform "America the Beautiful."
Yeah.
What? Like, you were surprised when you heard Post Malone was performing. Why were you surprised?
I just don't see him. That's such a beautiful song, and I just don't see him singing that song at all. But I don't know. I'm not a big Post Malone fan, so. And then Reba McEntire is singing the national anthem, and it's over under 90 seconds. I don't know. I think it'll be under 90 seconds, but the odds aren't that great.
And the last thing, do you believe that we know that Taylor Swift is in Japan for her tour? Mm-hmm. Will she make it back in time to at least make it at some point during the football game?
Pretty sure she will. I don't think there's a bet on that, though.
I don't know if there's
I haven't seen one, no. One of the bets I saw on that, will she be proposed to?
Right.
And will the MVP mention Taylor Swift?
Right.
Swift, whatever. Yeah, but no, I'm not. I'm staying away from those.
All right, and then before we get to the football game itself, you spend all your time worrying about the weather of the football game, the halftime of the football game. Do you have anything off the top of your head about the football game that you've already locked in on is what you're going to play?
Not yet. I'm still undecisive of who I'm going to take. I hear a lot of people also saying that, like they're not sure who they're going to pick. So I think maybe that's why the odds are how they are right now, because I think people are still trying to decide.
Okay, so as we transition into the game itself, I'm still hearing this buzzing in our ears from I believe it's our bar fridge that's right in front of us. The bar fridge is a critical member of this podcast, so it's hard to remove it, but I hope to, in future podcasts, to kind of set up the situation a little better where that noise is no longer interfering. But hey, we're a growing podcast. We live and learn. I do apologize, but it's either me or the beer fridge, and I think the beer fridge wins out. All right, so we're going to transition to the actual game, and here's what I'll say right off the bat is that there's so many choices, so many things to look at. It can be a bit overwhelming when you think about what are you finally going to land on as far as wagers on the Super Bowl, from who's going to win the game, the spread, and then you start looking at the novelty bets like the lady from upstairs did, from coin toss to next generation stats about you can bet who's going to receive the longest pass in the air, all these stats that you can't think of. It becomes overwhelming and hard to land on, even if I don't know if 2 weeks is enough to lead up to the game to really feel confident in what to bet on. And then throw in the best practice is to have multiple sports books. So you should be looking at, this bet here, but see how FanDuel has it, see how DraftKings has it, see how the Score has it before you place money on it, because you want to max the value of the line. So there's a lot to take in. I'm going to provide 10 wagers right now that I'm going to go with, 9 of which are locked in. 1 is not, because I need to deposit into another bookie and find a better line. But I'm going to give them to you and see how you like them. And if you don't like them, well, so be it. Go on Twitter or X at overrated EXBR2 and let me know what you think and maybe what your picks are. So to kick it off, this bet has stood out to me for quite a while now, and that is the Mahomes, Brock Purdy, 50-plus rush yards. And I like it a lot. This is a plus 150 to get 50. And the way that Mahomes uses his legs in the playoffs, especially. Brock Purdy showed against the Detroit Lions. Somebody's going to have a big run. One of the two quarterbacks is then, both going to chip away a first down here, 5 yards here. One guy's going to be desperate to keep, first downs going at the end of the game. So I think 50 yards is very doable for each of these quarterbacks. Any thoughts on that, lady from upstairs? No? Are you paying attention?
Sorry, I'm looking at my own lines here.
Are you looking at weather patterns?
No.
Cloud coverage?
Yes, I'm just sucking my finger in.
Okay. All right, on to bet number 2. So let's go in the envelope.
So official.
Bet number 2, 49ers. Oh, I can't even remember what I wrote down here. Oh my God. I forgot. Okay, I'm going to come back to that because I know I wrote this down. Or maybe somebody wrote me a prescription. I'm trying to read it because I can't. It's chicken scratch right now. All right, so let's put that second bet down. Oh, this is what it was. Sorry. Oh, just, scratch that out. Edit that out. I'm not going to edit it out. It's natural. It's okay. It's okay. So here's the bet I was looking at is I've decided right now that I think the 49ers are going to win this football game.
Okay.
But like everybody else, I am going to feel worse on Monday after I wake up, and if Mahomes at a plus money has won, and I missed that opportunity to take Patrick Mahomes as an underdog, it's going to hurt a lot more than if I would have gone with the Chiefs and lost. Because I know that's, the value play. But something tells me that the 49ers are going to win this game. But the problem I have is right now is FanDuel has it -2.5. And if I look down the line of optional sports books, the score has it -1.5. So obviously I think that's the better play. I just haven't moved to put funds in the score yet, so that bet is pending, but the 49ers are the play, and I'm going to find the best line before I go in on that. Travis Kelce, receiving yards, 72.5. I've taken the over at -110. Now he's the main guy. He's Patrick Mahomes' main guy that has been money the last couple playoff games, and pretty much, since Mahomes has been in the league, that tandem of Mahomes and Kelce, he's the go-to guy, and there is nothing. I feel better taking the over. He's going to target Kelce, and 72.5 yards, he could be hitting triple digits by the end of it. One interesting bet I'm going to take, and I think there's value here, is Kansas City's other tight end, Noah Gray, has if you look at alternative receptions, he's +100 even money to have 2 receptions. So I put a few dollars on that. Last 2 games, he's caught 2 against Baltimore, 3 against the Bills. So he's in play. He's a check down. I can envision one little crappy pass in the first quarter, and then maybe mid-third quarter he catches another one. Bam, you get paid. So Noah Gray to have 2 receptions or more under alternative receptions. What do you think of that, lady from upstairs?
Interesting.
Very interesting. Also, moving on then, team to have more offensive plays. This is a 3-way bet between San Francisco, Kansas City, and a tie. San Francisco's at -104. I'm taking a shot that the Kansas City offense may be a little more controlled. Well, the San Francisco offense may be a little more hectic. One play here, one play there, penalty here. I just see Brock Purdy busier, and the offense busier than Kansas City's offense. So I think there's value here, -104, that San Francisco has more offensive plays in the Super Bowl. Total yardage, this is interesting. Maybe a lady from upstairs, you would like this kind of bet. Mm-hmm. So this bet is total yardage of all San Francisco touchdowns over 35.5 at -112. So what this means, does that make sense, or do you want me to explain it?
Please explain.
Okay. Tune into the podcast to hear my explanation. So the idea is that I'm banking on the San Francisco 49ers to have 1 or more touchdowns. Okay? So if they're on the 1 yard line and then they get the touchdown, that counts as a 1 yard touchdown.
Oh, okay.
Okay, if they get a second touchdown and they threw a pass at the 10-yard line, counts as now I have 11 yards.
Okay.
But I'm looking at the San Francisco 49ers to have over 35 and a half yards in their touchdowns because I do foresee them having a big play that results into a touchdown. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's a 40-yard run. Maybe that's taken care of for me already. So I think there's good value there at minus 112 over 35 and a half yards for all of San Francisco touchdown yardage.
Interesting. I like that one.
Yeah. Will there be a successful 2-point conversion plus 300? Yeah, I put $50 on this that there would be. The season's over for both of these teams. The season's over. There's nothing left to play for. The analytics in many situations, if you have a team that's trying to kick an extra point, and there's a penalty, and they move to the 1-yard line, they're going to attempt a 2-point conversion. At the end of the game, there's scenarios where 2-point conversions are the play. If the team's down by 8 points or 11 points, they're going to try the 2-point conversion. So I think there is, in the NFL in 2024, the 2-point conversion is very common. Obviously, this has to be successful. And for plus 300, throw $50 on it. Why not?
Yeah.
Total San Francisco rushing yards. So we have CMC, Christian McCaffrey, potentially. I think he got the offensive. I don't know what the NFL awards tonight, but they have maybe the offensive player of the year. So CMC obviously should tear up a little bit of the KC defense. You throw in Brock Purdy taking off out of the pocket, but the key here is Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel has the potential to break open, a reverse for many yards, and that could be a big chunk in that 128. So I see the being value at minus 110 that San Fran over that rushing total. Any player to have a 60-plus reception. Now, this is a shot in the dark. It's plus 470. I threw $25 on it. Would you be surprised if there was a giant play in this game, like, a 10-yard pass, in their own 10-yard line, and somebody takes it back for a touchdown? There's going to be a big moment, a signature play in the Super Bowl, and why not be like a 70 to 80-yard passing touchdown? And that would take me to the pay window. 2 more to go. Are you anticipating these two, lady from upstairs?
Yes.
All right. And what do we have here? If I can read my writing. You can in FanDuel, you can have, just like you can on DraftKings, player versus player, who gets there first. So the player versus player that I have in this bet is Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver, against Samuel, Deebo, and it's who reaches 50 yards receiving first. Ayuk may have more trouble getting open and against this Kansas City defense. So, he can make that 50 yards up on one play. However, I see Deebo Samuel's game fitting into this ball game a lot better for big chunk yardage, one pass over the middle, a big run here and there. I think Deebo Samuel's going to be the player that Brock Purdy's going to versus Ayuk in this game. So I took that Deebo Samuel will reach that 50-yard receiving before Ayuk does. And last but not least, out of the envelope, now this is an interesting one. Over 2.5 players pass attempt plus 172. What that means is you got 2 quarterbacks, right? Mm-hmm. Brock Purdy, you have Patrick Mahomes. Will there be a third person passing the ball?
Okay.
Or record a pass. So this could mean that one of the quarterbacks gets hurt, or there's a trick play where, let's say, one of the 49ers receivers or one of the, maybe Travis Kelce on the Chiefs makes a pass attempt. So as soon as somebody else does, that means I get paid.
So is it like one of those, like,
No. Somebody is playing the role of quarterback.
Oh, okay.
But it might be a trick play where you don't know.
Okay.
It could be various scenarios where this could happen.
How often does it happen?
It can happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
It's an interesting one.
Have you ever heard of the Philly oh man, I just lost the Philly special? You didn't hear the Philly special. You just, no, not in your head like you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you meant not the pizza.
No. There was a play in the Super Bowl where the Eagles beat the Patriots, where the quarterback handed the ball off. He ran to the end zone. He got a pass to him.
Okay.
So that was somebody other than the quarterback throwing the ball.
Cool.
So that's what I'm counting on. Philly special, but this is like maybe the KC special or the San Francisco special. So I gave you 10 wagers there, but obviously it's Thursday and we're leading up to a 6:30 kickoff and a lot of downtime on the Sunday leading into that kickoff. So there'd be probably like 30 or 40 more bets on there. We'll see what happens. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. Maybe that will happen. Maybe that won't. But what I'll say is that it's going to be a hell of a ride. We're going to be the Overrated Experience Sports and Sports Betting Podcast is going to have many of the crew heading to the local pub called the Working Dog Saloon to watch the game. Have $5 domestic fancy tall boys and also, $6 tall boys domestic, which is great for a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. $5 bottle domestic, which no problem to me. And then you have your half price wings. What more of a football atmosphere do you want? I was listening to a few folks today talk about these professional bettors and how they like to watch the game. I totally agree that if you're looking to make money off this game, you probably want to watch it with a small audience, probably at home, because you want to keep your eye on the live betting. Mm-hmm. Versus, by halftime, you're 15 beers in and you're making bad decisions. And that always happens. It does. Alcohol and gambling does not work. They do not mix when it comes to success. They do not equal success at all. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to watch out. We'll have to watch the lady from upstairs, what she's betting on. And we'll have to watch her and maybe, have somebody, take over her phone or something. I don't know. But wings, beer, football, friends, entertainment, that is Super Bowl in a nutshell. Any last words, lady from upstairs?
No.
Wow. Words of enthusiasm, words of encouragement, words to live by. Pleasure's all been yours, lady from upstairs, and you, the audience. The Overrated Experience is over and out.